Hello everybody. Welcome back. For this stream, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some altcoins that I've been monitoring. So the ones I'm going to take a look at this stream is Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, Chainlink. And if we can get this video to 50 likes, then I'll show the rest of my altcoins that I'm looking at, which includes Matic, BNB, let's see, Doge, Aave. There's a few that I'm looking at, but I've got a total of 16 on my list. So like, subscribe, and with further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So with Ethereum, there's basically been two main ideas that we've been following. And it also mirrors exactly what we were talking about at Bitcoin as well. Whether this is the bottom, or we have one more companion leg for this leg. The count I want to take a look at first is the bullish counts. There's a few different ways that we can see this unfolding. As of right now, this does have a leading diagonal structure. It's very clear. Each swing has diminished in volume, and it's getting smaller and smaller, and it has a contracting nature. It also can be divided as a 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, which is a traditional leading diagonal. There is another way we can take a look at this. I'm a little weary of this for two reasons. One is the timing. When we look at 1, 2, 1, 2s, that second wave 2 should not be larger than the first 1, 2. So this correction was about, say, about 2 months. And this correction was about 3 to 4 months. Usually when this happens with Elliott wave theory and based off of wave degree and timing, this would usually invalidate a count because of the timing traditionally. Because this degree, a smaller degree, should not be larger in time than its parent degree. Sometimes I'll allow this though on a higher time frame when we're talking about larger degrees. So if we are in a 1, 2, 1, 2 and we start to expand up aggressively, I would have to update this to a primary degree because that would be the only way it makes sense for me to have this larger 1, 2, 1, 2 structure and the second 1, 1, 2 being extremely larger in time. Another thing that I'm worried about, the second reason, is that higher time frame 1, 2, 1, 2s don't typically play out. So it's not very rare where we get a clear 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 on a higher time frame, and then extremely just move on out of that zone aggressively. So it's something that I'm a little weary of. If I were to take a look at this from a bullish perspective, I would favor the leading diagonal at this time. It's really all about managing structure. Once it gets below this low, this is still not as likely because we're still waiting for a correction right here to occur. Once we break this trend line, that's when this gets a little more higher probability. So right now, they're both kind of 50-50. I'd say this one has a little more higher probability due to what we're discussing with the timing aspect, because it's okay that this wave 4 is larger than this wave 2 because they're of the same degree. If we once again want to say that this correction is not over, and once again we have a companion leg to break this low, and this is not the bottom for the cycle 2. This is the way that I'm looking at it, as a triple three combo. The one thing I'm wary about this one is the structure of it doesn't look as nice. When we see a triple three combo, whoops. When we see a triple three combo, these pullbacks are usually pretty deep. This pullback right here was not as deep. It doesn't have the greatest look. It doesn't have the greatest structure for a triple three combo. It's still valid though. And truthfully, when I look at these swings, if you look at this more on the daily or the weekly, these are more three wave swings. Even currently, right now, this looks more like a three wave swing. So it subdivides better as a triple three combo, yet it looks better as a diagonal structure wise. So we'll continue to monitor it. At this time, I would actually say it's actually 50-50 in the bulls and bears right now. 50% probability for both scenarios. Next, I want to go ahead and take a look at Cardano. I've always liked Cardano. I've been monitoring this for quite some time. Just to recap, I've got Cardano in a primary degree wave 1 instead of a cycle. And same with most of my coins now. Everything has dwindled down to basically a bullish count and a bearish count, which is nice because I remember a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, we had about four counts for almost each assets, but we were expecting the move up more than the move down. We were expecting this move up more than just moving down. And that's what really Elliott Wave does. It helps you manage expectations. And now that we've had more considerable price action, we've been able to eliminate some counts and also update some counts that we've been following. So, one that we've been following for the bullish case has been a WXY from the top for our primary wave degree 2. And now it's really about monitoring the structure here for this minor wave 1. Because I'm looking at this as the bottom. I'm looking at this as a wave 1, the wave 2. We need a wave 3. We need a wave 4. And then we need that wave 5 to complete the minor wave 1. There's a few different ways that I can see this wave 3 pivot. I can put it right here, or I can put it right here, and we'll discuss that really shortly. What I like about this though is we have wave degree directional confluence, meaning even if we're looking at this from a bullish perspective or bearish perspective, the underlying trend has been identified. What I mean by this is we expect a correction down for wave 4 and then a push up for wave 5, either for a wave 1 or a wave C, both of the minor degrees. So it's either a minor wave C or a minor wave 1. In both cases, we expect a retrace for a 4, a push up for a 5 to complete that degree. At that time, it's all about managing expectations. We expect to move down either for a wave 1 or a wave A, retrace for a wave B or a wave 2, and then an extension for a wave C, or if we're bearish, a wave 3. So once again, we're going to have more wave degree directional confluence after we complete this wave 5. So we can capture the market swings with wave degree confluence, but it's all about managing expectations once you get to this point, because we don't know if this is going to be a C and it's going to end and push up, or if this is actually a wave three and it's going to push down. Going to the shorter time frame, let's take a look at the hourly. So I like having the wave three pivots at the extreme where price currently has made the highs high, the current extreme at this point, mainly because of the subway structure internally. So when you look at these swings and right where wave three ended, we have a classic triangle right here, very clear triangle. After that, clear impulse out of that zone. That's our wave one. Clear wave two pullback, A, B, C, ending diagonal. There's our wave two. Now, when we build this out, one, two, three, four, five. It's got nice structure, especially when we're comparing the timing of these corrections. They're both very similar in time. If we were to take a look at things a little differently and move our wave three pivot here, it's something we can do, but it'd be forced, mainly because of the timing of this wave two. If you compare this wave two to this wave four, it's not very similar at all. However, sometimes we want to see perfect structure, and that doesn't always happen. And sometimes we have to force accounts. So it's something that I'm aware of. It's also something that we can build off of as well. Meaning, right now we have back to back three wave moves. This looks better as a three wave move internally. I can get this as an expanding diagonal. There's no doubt about that. But when you look at it from a broader perspective, it's a clear three wave move internally. So given that back to back three way moves, the only thing left is either a triangle, a running triangle, or a flat. We're going to go with the flat because it's more simple. It makes more sense. And it looks like the structure is potentially building out for either a triple 1-2 right now, or maybe this actually is coming for something like this, where this is a W. We get a retrace for an X. Then we get a retrace for the Y for that C leg of that triangle potentially. Once again, it's all about managing expectations. But first, we're going to look at things more simple. We're going to look at that flat. If this flat does play out and we get something more like this could actually just be a W and we go more into an X, something more complex of a wave four. And the reason why I'm looking for either a more complex wave four, if our wave three pivots here, or what I want to see is actually our wave three pivot right here, because I want this wave four to have nice time symmetry with the wave two that we have down here. We don't want that wave four to happen too short in time, because as you look at this one already, I'm only projecting about half the time of the wave two currently. So we've got a lot of room to go, but I think due to the the recent activity in the markets, I think we're pressing up. Meaning, I don't think we're going to hang around this area too long. I think we're capturing a lot of retail right now, especially since the altcoins have been moving considerably recently. I think we won't spend too much time in here. But as of right now, I favor more of this wave three pivot at this point. The next one I'm going to take a look at is Sol. This one's been pretty exciting. And this one is a great example of wave degree confluence because from our bullish perspective, for those who've been following me for quite some time, we had this as a W, X, and a Y. We had this impulse up. We were actually looking for a WXY right here. We were looking for a double three combo, and we were looking for a push up at this point. There was a weekly breaker and a weekly fair value gap coupled with this golden fib. And this was either a 1 or an A, and that was a 2 or a B. What comes after that? An extension, right? Either a C or a 3. This does look pretty strong here for a wave 3 if you have your pivots right here. There's different ways you can have this pivots. Um, you could even move this over here if you wanted to. I think you're getting a little aggressive. It'd still be a valid running flat because you'd have a three-way move right here. This is a little tricky right here, subdividing, but it'd be a ABC internally. And then you have that five-wave swing structure for the flats, but it'd be a running flat. The only thing I want to see with this bullish counts is basically symmetry and time, meaning when these corrections unfolds, I want to see a similar time frame of completion, just like I was talking about on Cardano. So when this wave 4 pulls back, I want to have some similar in time to this. When this larger wave 4 pulls back, I wanted to have some similarity in time to this wave 2 of its similar degree. And then just continue bullish order flow. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and on forth. When we take a look at this from a bearish perspective, there's two different ways I can see this. First, we see this as an impulse down. Internally, we're working on A, B, C. It's all about where you have your B pivots. There's a few different ways. If you think of this more as a running triangle, an A, B, C, D, E, then you would have your B pivot right here. I like this for basically one reason. When you compare these legs, these impulse legs, very nice similarity in structure, strength, time. However, you can have your B pivot right here. The only issue I have with this is the timing with this wave 4 and the timing of this wave 2. It's almost about this wave 2 is about almost 3 times in length as wave 4. It doesn't have the nicest structure. Once again, though, sometimes we just don't get that extremely clean structure. Sometimes price doesn't do that. Sometimes it does throw us curveballs where it's something like that. So I am monitoring this. I am aware of this. And what I like about both of them is that in the short-term time frame, they both look like they're completing an ending diagonal right here. Another way I can look at this a little more aggressively is if this is actually only a wave 1. Here, let me actually go down to the 4-hour. Is if this is still a wave 1 right here, but this is actually an a B, and then a C, and then we go up for wave 3, meaning we move this wave 3 up here, retrace for wave 4, and then move up for wave 5. That can still happen. Once again, it's all about managing expectations, right? If we get a pullback and then it comes immediately back up in this price territory and takes us high, obviously we're most likely going to be looking at a diagonal. The second thing we'll look at is a 1-2-1-2. A 1-2-1-2. Because that's what'll happen right here. It'll be a 1-2-1-2, and then take that high. The only reason I'm not favoring this is because the structure of this wave one. It's a three-wave move. That's what also helps me to believe this is going to be an ending diagonal. Because when we look at ending diagonals, traditionally, they're three, 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 threes. That's their structure internally. So I'd say the same thing with Soul. Almost about 50-50 at this point with Soul. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at Chainlink. There's a few different ways I can see Chainlink here. Chainlink actually has a nice triple three combo. It's not a triple zigzag. It's more of a triple three combo. So from the beginning, we got a nice zigzag here, nice zigzag there. This is also a nice zigzag, and then we have a triangle and then a flat. The timing of these corrections have been nice when you subdivide it this way. And the timing of these corrections fit more of what we're looking for intermediate degree for our primary wave 2. As you may have noticed, most of my altcoins, I have them in a primary wave 2, except for Ethereum. I also see Ethereum on a cycle, as well as Bitcoin. I see them on their cycle degrees. Now, the only thing we want to see here is kind of the same thing as the other altcoins. We want to see a nice pullback, continuation up to complete an impulse for the bullish leg for wave 1. Then we see an ABC and continuation up. If for some reason we want to see this a little bit differently and have a bearish perspective, because once again, I truly think things are about 50-50 at this point with most assets, especially crypto. This is how I can see it. We have this as a large A, B, C for W. We have an A, B, C for flat. And this has a nice look for flat, personally. Usually when we see these flats, this is nice right here. Nice long accumulation, a quick manipulation, and then sharp, aggressive 5-wave move up. It's got a nice flat look. And if you also notice, once again, wave degree confluence. Although we may not be confident in the longer term trend, is this going down or is this going to go up? We know in the short term time frame, we're going to get a pullback for wave 4. We're going to get a push up for wave 5. We're going to get a push down for wave 1 or wave A. Get a corrective move up for wave 2 or wave B. And then get a push down for either a C or a wave 3. It's once again, it's all about managing expectations. You can capture these swings with wave degree confluence because we understand in both perspectives pullback, continuation, and is this going to be a pullback or an extension? But Chainlink does have a very nice structure at this point. Nice corrective pullback right here, either if you have your pivot right here or not. This one looks good. And also, it's right there on the 382 logarithmic fib. So that's all I've got for today. If you enjoyed this video, once again, go ahead and like, follow, subscribe. And if you have any questions, as always, I'm always here publicly. You can message me publicly in the Discord. You can also message me privately if you don't feel comfortable with that. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and thanks for your time.